But I like my traps, my condoms, my contraception, my no baby devices that I use for my sexual organ. I like preventing pregnancies. Whew, that went too far left field. If all monsters you control are super heavy samurai monsters and you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, I associate spell and traps, things you set, back row, bitches, to condoms, contraception, birth control, things like that, just in case you didn't understand a few seconds ago. You could target one face-up monster your opponent controls, send that target and this card from the field to the graveyard. This special summon one super heavy samurai synchro monster from your extra deck whose levels equal the total original levels of the sent monsters. It says equal. It doesn't say equal or less. You don't have the option, but there's only one super heavy samurai synchro right now. Because it's level 10, and in an average game, you're not going to be getting this effect off to summon that fucker. But if you do, it acts as pseudo removal, kinda sorta. Even though this motherfucker has only 100 attack, it's not supposed to have attack because it's a tuner. So you're supposed to synchro with it. And because it is a tuner, you do not have to use its effect. But I do like the fact that you have the option to synchro your opponent's monsters. This is the type of card that will get better if and or when we get more Super Heavy Samurai Synchros. The OCG, there is a level 6. And if we had the level 6 in the TCG, I'm not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro shit, because we got access to everything. Everything! This card would be a tad bit better. Super Heavy Samurai are quite interesting, because this is the first archetype, I believe, that punishes you for having spell and traps in the graveyard, which basically says, indirectly, don't play spell and traps to stay there. I wouldn't say that the effects that you don't want to have spell and traps in the graveyard for are like broken, overpowered shit, but they're pretty good. Like this one, it's pretty good. Like the level 10 is pretty good. You get to take a spell and trap from your opponent's graveyard and set it. It's like, that's pretty good, but you can't have spell and traps in your graveyard. So there's a bit of give and take. Again, we all have choices. It isn't like people are forcing, you better play Super Heavy Samurai, motherfucker. Motherfucker. And wouldn't it be some interesting stuff if Super Heavy Samurai became competitive? It basically says, play all monsters. I haven't even played this shit, so I don't even know how it's going to go, but I feel like they have some pretty decent things, because they have a card that prevents targeting effects on the Super Heavy Samurai, which is pretty good, and it's in the graveyard, so that's pretty good. And then there's a Searcher, which is pretty good, and it doesn't miss timing. And now back to the tuner. The tuner is not terrible. It's just going to be ignored like all the rest of the Super Heavy Samurais. I guess the point I'm trying to make in this video is that just because they're not popular does not mean that they're bad. I'm not going to say some shit like Super Heavy Samurai being slept on. I mean, if you slept on these motherfuckers, I bet that would be a very uncomfortable sleep. Give us more Super Heavy Samurai Synchros. One for like each commonly used level. And then this gets better. But then again, who gives a fuck if it ain't Infernoids, if it ain't Ritual Beasts, if it ain't Necros or Cleaforts, who gives a fuck? So I'd like to thank each and every one for watching. Appreciate that shit. Also like to ask you to click an advertisement. This is never planned out. I improv this. It helps me pay my end of the rent to live here. I have no reason to lie about that. Takes literally seconds out your day and no money out your pocket. If you like me and my lovely and bubbly personality, if you want to support me, that's the way you do it. I don't think it's a whole lot to ask. I mean, if I thought it was a whole lot, I wouldn't ask you. I appreciate it and I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. To anybody that has Super Heavy Samurai cards, I will happily take them. Give me all them shits.